Well, hello once again everybody. I'm not doing what I'd hoped and intended to do today because rather than having about 6 or 7 inches of snow, we've just got pouring down heavy rain. I'm aware that a lot of places in the UK have got snow, some fairly close to us, but we got a bit of light sleet yesterday evening, and overnight it just turned into the usual grey drizzle, and now I'm looking at heavy rain out through the door behind me, or rather in front of me. Anyway, so the original plan had been to go out on the ready-to-go Triumph Cub out in the snow and have a bit of fun and make a few videos and whatever, but I'm not going out in the pouring rain because I can do that any time and I don't feel like doing it today, thank you. So I thought actually I'd been looking at a few videos on YouTube by other people, and one of them touched on the prices of classic bikes and why prices are dropping, and that always intrigues me actually, that one. And I've got no reason to whinge whether prices go up or down because I'm not really in the market to buy anything. There's nothing really left that I want. I've got most of what I want, I think, and neither am I interested in selling them, so it doesn't matter too much. But of course it's always nice to keep your finger on the pulse and try and keep aware of what things are being bought and sold for. And the current consensus seems to be that prices of classics are dropping. And another thing that sort of intrigues me here is where does this actually start? You get, for instance, you might get someone's got a bike for sale on Marketplace for X amount of pounds, and then you'll get comments pop in, and you get the odd sort of, you'll be lucky to get that. Prices of classics are dropping, you know. Are they? So based on you putting that comment on the guy's advert, prices are dropping, are they? Did some guy up in a pub somewhere tell someone else, prices of classics are dropping, you know? Oh my God, spread the word, spread the word. It's the old chicken licking routine, isn't it? Quick, quick, the sky is falling down. I don't quite buy that. I mean, I know that prices fluctuate and they do go up and down, but for people to sort of be so brass-necked as to sort of advise somebody who they probably have never met and they're not interested in buying their bike anyway, they just wade in on this advert, you'll be lucky to get that, you know, prices of classics aren't what they used to be. Well, my answer to that would be, I'm selling it, I'm offering it for sale for X amount, and if it doesn't make X amount or very near it, it can stay put. Now I do realise that some people have got to sell things, they might need the money, they might need something else, whatever, so then obviously it's all a matter between the buyer and the seller really. The buyer's got his expectations, the seller's got his, and hopefully they can meet somewhere in the middle that pleases both of them, but the prices can fluctuate and go up and down. Now for instance, when I bought my first Triumph Tiger Cub, which is still with me, I bought it in 1977 for £50. That was, I suppose, the going rate for one of them in that condition at the time. It wasn't a bargain, it wasn't extortionate. If I sold it now, which I just would never do anyway, I'd certainly want more than my £50 back for it, and I know that I'd get a lot more than that. But like I say, what they're worth isn't really of that much interest to me because I'm not going to try and sell them anyway. But I thought more about the subject, and another thing is actually, while we're on about prices, just quickly I'll go back to that. I always remember the time when I could have bought a Triumph Hurricane for £6,000, and I thought, that's expensive. That's twice as much as my T150V Trident is worth. How can a Hurricane be worth twice as much as a T150V? And I could have actually bought one. There was one for sale and I had £6,000, and I just thought, no, do you know what? I'm not paying that. Well, at the time, like I say, the Hurricane was probably worth about twice as much as the T150V. In more recent years, now I know they've peaked and probably perhaps come down again, but I do remember when hurricanes were changing hands for £20,000 and £25,000, and at that point when they were, I think you might have got about £7,000 or £8,000 for your T150V. So basically the Hurricane, where it had been worth twice as much as the Trident, now appeared to be worth 3 times as much. And at that time, my theory was, now whether this is complete bollocks or not I don't know, but there were people, and I'd have done it in that position as well, but there were people, lots of people it would appear, having substantial wins on the lottery and so on, and I think this still goes on. But at the time, and if I'd had a substantial win, I'd have done the same. All of a sudden, you've got all this money that you've never had before, and all these things that you would love to have if you had the money, and now you've got the money. So off you go to your Bonham's auction or whatever, there's a Triumph Hurricane, and you know what? I'm going to buy it. I don't care what anybody else bids, I'm coming away with that. So you end up in the room there bidding, and perhaps there's 1 or 2 other people there with a bit of money who also want the Hurricane, but you've got more money than you've ever had before in your life. Triumph Hurricanes have been going for about £12,000, let's say at that point, maybe 15 with the wind behind them, and all of a sudden you wade in with your lottery winnings, and you're bidding against someone who's not short of a few quid either, and you're coming away with that bike, and before you know it, history has been made, and that bike's made £20,000 or £25,000. But you've still got several £100,000 which you never had before, so you don't care. But all of a sudden, Triumph Hurricanes are changing hands for a new record of £20,000 or £25,000. And I think that has happened to some degree in the past. But now, in a lot of cases at least, I mean, it probably perhaps still goes on a bit, but in a lot of cases, perhaps that market has been satisfied, because since the lottery has been running and people have been winning large sums of money and buying what they want, a lot of that sort of demand has probably been satisfied where it wouldn't have been before, and perhaps that's fallen off a little bit. But then there's other things as well, like people are saying that bikes from the 40s, 50s and 60s aren't of as much interest to younger people as stuff from 60s, 70s, 80s, that kind of thing. Well, yeah, I can sort of understand that argument as well, but I don't think that little old things like this Tiger Cub here are becoming completely worthless. And strangely enough, since I've been making the videos, and I've got I think about 250 odd videos in my Tiger Cub playlist, which I might actually morph into a podcast, I think, because there's some stuff there worth seeing, honestly, even though I say it myself. But the comments I've had about these Tiger Cubs, some of them have been along the lines of, wow, I'd heard of a Tiger Cub, I never realised that they were such a great little bike, you know, and there's a few people have commented that I'm actually going to go and buy one, I never considered one before, what great little bikes, and they are, and especially if you're getting a little bit older, and perhaps big heavy bikes aren't as manageable as they used to be, these, you can just about pick them up and carry them around, and they're fantastic. And with the speed limits all over the place being lowered, and speed cameras and whatever about the place, it's not so easy or enjoyable to go very fast anymore, and you're hardly going to lose your license on something like this, but you can have great fun on it anyway. And what I was coming to, going back to the sort of prices of the that classics might fetch and whatever, I kept a rough sort of diary of what this thing was costing me. Now bear in mind, I was 17 years old when I bought this bike as it was then for about £140, I think it was, and it was horrible. It was a complete pigsty of a bike, pigsty on wheels, and it was about 5 different colours. It only had one colour for the wiring though, and that was red. Every wire on it was red. That was horrible, a disaster. Anyway, I used it for a little while, then scrapped it. The frame was bent and twisted, and I just sort of raided it for spares and bits and pieces for the other ones. I've probably told this story before a bit, but anyway, there came a time when I thought, as I had a logbook for this frame and the frame number was clearly legible and everything, I'd have a go at straightening it. And long story short, I managed to do that, and I gathered up various bits and pieces I had lying around, and I also bought in odds and sods as I needed them, and well, this is the end result. And I think I kept a rough sort of diary ongoing of what it cost as I did it, and little bits and pieces I got out my own stock where I would sort of say, right, well, I could have sold this to someone perhaps for 50 quid, so I'll add 50 quid to the total of this because I put it on this. So I started with the engine. This engine at the time I think I bought for about 200 quid. And it was in good shape. I stripped it all down and probably added a few parts to it, and I've probably written them down somewhere. But all things like that, and the paintwork, I bought one set of spokes, I think, from Central Wheels. I had the rim all ready for the wheel, built the wheel up. The rear wheel I bought complete in good condition. So on and so forth. And over the years, the many years, I think about 8 or 9 years, that dragged along while I sort of did this, and then it fell dormant for a while, it cost nearly £3,500. That includes the price of buying the bike and what my going rate at the time, as time went on, my hourly rate. I charged myself working on it, plus any parts bought in, and we finished up where we are now. I mean, I've got to get this tank painted again, and it'll look really great, and it's going to be silver again, just like this, but obviously without the rusty specs. This bike, probably including my hourly rate and everything as I worked along it and all the bits I threw at it, like I say, cost nearly £3,500. Is it worth that? I would like to think yes it is. I don't think that I'd make a profit on that, and if I'd started doing this bike today at my current hourly rate, and with the parts costing what they probably cost today, and what buying a side points square fin engine would cost, etc, etc, I think we'd have been well north of 6,000 quid on this today if it had been done these days. It's only because I did the work gradually over years, a lot of that at a lower hourly rate than I charge currently, that, like I say, it's coming in at just short of £3,500. But they are a fantastic bike. These, and many others actually, these classics. Now I can't really, like I say, I don't know. I mean, I could go to the pub tonight, someone could say to me, Paul, classic bikes, they're not fetching as much as they used to. Do I then go home and think, right, well, that's knocked the value of my bikes for 6? I don't know, but it's strange. It's just strange where these things sort of first sort of emerge from. Who sets the ball rolling for prices when they go up or down? I can only really comment on what things are worth to me, and I can't put a price on it. I know I've put prices on a couple of them for insurance reasons, agreed value sort of sums for if, God forbid, they had to be replaced. I mean, how do you replace something like that for a start off? It's more sort of sentimental and emotional value than monetary value to me. I mean, all the sort of years I've owned this one and all the effort I put into making it what it is today, and it's a bike that I know, well, I love. Money can't replace it, money can't buy it, but okay, admittedly prices do seem to have fallen recently. They could go up again, I don't know, but it's just one to sort of think about really. And I don't buy it when someone just says to me, oh well, you know, you're asking too much for that, prices have come down, you know, especially if it's someone trying to buy something. I mean, as a obvious tool to use for a bit of leverage, but at the end of the day, I don't see them as investments anyway. I see them more as things to cherish and love and hopefully enjoy occasionally when it's not pissing it down with rain. So I just thought I'd touch on that, seeing as how I'm probably not going out today. There's no snow and it's just pouring down rain, and I think me and the bikes can stay dry today. So thanks for watching.